All right, hello, family. I do like that. Sorry, I talk with my hands. This is Adam and Pam coming at you to start something a little new. We're going into a brand new year. All right, Catholic New Year, Happy New Year. It is November 30th today, which means tomorrow is the start of Advent, right?
Woohoo!
Man, Advent is like the best season ever. So it's Catholic New Year. It starts our liturgical year. It's a new beginning, which is why we're called in Advent to pause, to reflect, to be grateful, to do penance, right? And to seek reconciliation with God to start the year off right. Like, that's the whole idea. That's why we go to reconciliation. That's why we're called to be quiet, to be still, to slow down, and to find just a few weeks to really recenter and find peace, in Jesus. So to try something new, start something new. I'm bringing in the expert in liturgical
Thanks.
living
Not
here.
quite.
We do it together, but I mean, Pam is like on the front battle lines every day, bringing the gospel home, bringing the beauty of the church into our house. And so I'm like, dude, I gotta get you a face
Thanks.
in front of people. And she's like, great, I don't want to do that. Why do you do this to me all the time? All right, so basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna come on here every week. I'm gonna read the gospel. We get an awesome gospel for tomorrow. And Pam's gonna just briefly talk about the little things that we do to bring the liturgy, to bring the feast days into our home and to kind of really bring it alive, because we're called to build that domestic church. We're called to just like raise little saints, like saint training 101. Like, we are the saint trainers, all right? And God says to each and every one of us as parents, he says, yo, I'm calling you to raise my future saints. And I'm like, holy cow, really? All right. I hope I don't mess them up too bad. So let's read. I keep doing.
That's all good. It's
You
all
should
good.
be on the other side next
I know.
time.
It's all good. Just
So,
read.
all right. So the gospel for tomorrow, Sunday, December 1st, the first Sunday of Advent, is this. It's from the gospel. It's from Matthew, chapter 24, verses 37 through 44, and it says this: As it was in Noah's day, so will I be when the Son of Man comes. For in those days before the flood, people were eating, drinking, taking wives, taking husbands, right up to the day Noah went into the ark. And they suspected nothing till the flood came and swept them all away. This is what it will be like when the Son of Man comes. Then, of two men in the fields, one is taken and one is left. Of two women grinding at the mill, one is taken, one left. So stay awake, because you do not know the day when your master is coming. You may be quite sure of this, that if the householder had known at what time of the night the burglar would come, he would have stayed awake and would not have allowed anyone to break through the wall of his house. Therefore, you too must stand ready, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. Boom, the gospel of the Lord. So I'm always like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought this was about the sweet baby Jesus. Like, I thought we were getting ready for the sweet baby Jesus. And in the gospel, we hear about the end times. We hear about the second coming of Christ, which will happen. And so what we need to remember going into Advent is, okay, Jesus is not born over and over again every year. That would just be weird. All right? Jesus was born. He came to earth. He lived on earth. He suffered. He died. And he rose. Like, he lived his life, his human life here on earth. It's done. It was done. But and during Advent, we await with great expectation not his birth, but his second coming. That's truly what Advent calls us to pause and prepare for. And that's why we hear this gospel right at the beginning of Advent. It kicks right into like the meat and the potatoes of what this season is all about. And it's like, whoa, this isn't about sweet baby Jesus, although we love sweet baby Jesus. And we're thankful that he came and did what he did and taught what he taught and suffered what he suffered and died what he died. But Jesus is telling us during this Advent, you guys, I'm coming back. All right? And so Advent is a time to step back and pause and reflect and say, am I ready for that? Am I ready for Jesus to come like tomorrow? Like he could show up and he could be like, all right, those who are ready, I'm taking, the rest are staying. And then it's like done. It's like done. It's not going to take much time at all. It's going to be like this flash of light, cloud surfing, angels, cherubim, seraphim, like the whole 9 yards, like cloud surfing in Jesus, like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. It's going to be so cool. So we have a ton of feast days this week. Like Advent is chock full of feast days. It's chock full of ways to celebrate and live liturgically. So I just asked Pam, she's got this wicked sweet, blessed is she Catholic mom super duper planner that she uses. Awesome planner, you guys, ladies, not guys, ladies.
It's a ladies'
It's for the
planner.
ladies. Like I would never use it, all right? But it's what she uses to plan the liturgical life, the homeschool life, living the life. So Pam, tell us about the week.
Here,
What's it look like?
Let me just show the planner.
It's
'cause
gonna
this
be
is
like
awesome.
it's gonna be like backwards, but
I
you
know
can
it's
show
backwards, but you can see it anyway. You can see that there's different
Oh, yeah.
colors. We're in purple for Advent, and then we have some feast days in here, and I always square them up. And I love it because it helps me know what's coming up next. Oh, stop moving it around. And then I just write in kind of what our plan is. Advent is great. Like Adam said, there's so many. So the first, 3 weeks of Advent, or the 2 weeks. First, because Advent's only like 3.5 weeks long.
It's short.
So short.
It's short this year. Yeah.
So the first 2 weeks of Advent are filled with awesome feast days. And we've just really started to dive into liturgical living, and our kids are already like anticipating the traditions that we set last year that we're going to follow again, similar this year. So we have 2 weeks of lots of feast days, and then that last week of Advent is so nice and quiet, which I really love it to come to appreciate right before Jesus comes, that we're just really readying our heart, and we're going to, that week we'll just really be focusing on, doing acts of kindness, going to confession, going to adoration, really quiet. But this part is celebrating because it's so exciting.
Yeah.
So first coming up this week, and we don't always do all of the saints because there's so many. But here's the big ones that we're going to do. So on Tuesday the 3rd, we're going to recognize St. Francis of Xavier.
Boom.
And if your parish doesn't have access to it, get access to it at the website forum.org, because there's lots of adult education, but there's also great cartoons and videos for kids. And so we plan to watch the video about St. Francis Xavier. It's a little biography. And they love it. It's cartoon form, and I will post it below, or Adam will, one of us will show you. We have an awesome coloring book that has lots of different saints, so I am putting together a December coloring book little packet for them to color, so they can watch it and color and do that at the same time. So that's Tuesday. Thursday is the eve of St. Nicholas. So we celebrate St. Nicholas because he is so special, the father of Christmas, and or come to be known as the father of Christmas.
That's right. Santa was a real dude.
That's right. So we celebrate it in 2 days. We do it on the eve, and then we do it on St. Nicholas Day. and I can't talk too loud because kids are still awake. But so what we are going to do is, on the eve, on the 5th, let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to watch the St. Nicholas movie, because there's a great biography movie, and they love to watch it. It always really strikes their mind about when he goes and he's sent to jail for a very long time. The kids are always baffled by that. So it's a great biography to learn about his life. That's on Formed as well. So we're going to watch that. We're going to color his picture, and we will put out our boots for St. Nicholas, and we will, what we did in the past is we wrote him a little note of him coming. Then that night, hopefully, St. Nicholas will come and leave us some treats in our boots.
Yeah.
And then we'll celebrate the next day. There's a great tradition of making St. Nicholas cookies. You can find those online. It's basically a gingerbread cookie recipe. So that's what we do. We just make gingerbread cookies. We got little Santa hat cookie cutters, because I had a really hard time finding Santa. But
it's all right.
And that's okay. We're gonna use a little Santa hat and use white and red frosting to decorate those. And so they will eat one cookie that day, and then we will freeze the rest to save, to make some cookie platters for some fire rescuers and our police officers in our town and our neighbors that we will share on Christmas Eve and hand out those plates. So, and then Saturday is the Feast of St. Ambrose.
Yes.
And he is well known for candle making. So what we are going to do this year, we have never done this tradition before, is that we have some candles, and we are going to draw on tissue paper and transform their image. It kind of melts it right into the wax. So stay tuned. I've never done it, so I will post pictures, or I don't know.
I know. I think that's going to be cool.
It's going to come out really cool. And then we're going to save those candles, because I think it's February, when we have Candlemas, we will bring those candles out and burn them. And we have a big day of just candles, living by candlelight, eating by candlelight. It's a special day.
Yeah, and another beautiful thing that we're doing as a family tomorrow, obviously, get the Advent wreath out.
Yes.
Make sure you have the candles, like, they always get lost, or make sure you have candles, at least the first purple candle. Like, don't stress.
Purple, pink, purple.
Right, just do what you can. But get the candles. Tomorrow, first Sunday of Advent, light the candles. You can Google a simple Advent prayer, first Sunday of Advent prayer, Catholic, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Don't overthink it. Another cool thing we're doing, because it's the Catholic New Year, is we're talking about and having the kids kind of choose a saint that they're going to ask for prayers in a very special way throughout the year, kind of like a patron for their year. So not necessarily a confirmation saint or anything like that, but they're choosing someone to walk with them for the year that they've felt kind of drawn close to recently. And
and so when their feast day of that saint, their saint of the year, comes up, they get to plan the special day to celebrate them. They get to pick a dessert, pick the meal of the day, and we'll just kind of recognize it as their extra special day beyond their birthday, beyond their baptismal day.
Sweet.
That we will celebrate as well.
And we're also going to figure out all of their baptism days. That's an important thing we can do as Catholics, because it's really just as important as their birthday. Like recognizing in some way their baptism date throughout the year as kind of like a second birthday, really, because it is our spiritual birth. That is what we believe as Catholics. And then tomorrow we're also going to pick names in the family, because during Advent we choose one person in the family and we hand make Christmas gifts for that person. So one Christmas gift for that person. What Pam forgot to mention, also on these Saint Feast days, I know it's a lot, but it's a lot of small things, all right, guys? Also on these feast days, food. Special food is the easiest way to celebrate a saint or a feast day. All right. St. Francis Xavier, he did ministry in Japan. We're eating Japanese that night. All right.
It's stir fry, easy.
Right. with pad thai noodles or something. Whatever I could find at the grocery store. But on St. Nicholas's feast day, we're having pizza, and we're gonna make a cheese-shaped mitre hat
'Cause he was a bishop.
on the pizza because he was a bishop. So a mitre with a cross in the middle. Bishop. And it's red too for St. Nicholas. Red sauce. There you go.
Red sauce, so something easy.
Yeah. I don't. Sorry. Like this. I just can't control it. But all right.
And one more thing.
Real quick.
Oh, let me go grab it. We also
Oh.
do the Jesse tree. Let me go show you.
All right. Real quick. I know, and we don't have to do it all at once. We can give them tours of like. We can show you guys stuff that
But
we
here's
do.
it's starting tomorrow.
Because Advent is huge.
In our Advent calendar, these are like old. I don't know,
They're
3 years old
perfect.
now.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not old, but they're-
Laminated, good to go.
But when we started homeschooling, we bought a laminator. It's the best thing ever. Anyhow, so we made these, and I found them online. I Googled them, printed them out.
Oh, nice.
And thank goodness we were in a panic. We had lost a few. But they go through the story of creation and then all the way through Jesus' story of how it all connects, his family's storyline. And it's really neat. We actually have a, what do you call it? Artificial tree. That's the word. Artificial tree. And the kids have claimed it as that's the Jesse tree. It can't be our regular
Yeah.
Christmas tree, even though Adam says he wants it to be.
No, we're getting a real tree.
No,
We're all
'cause-
about the real
so
tree. Yeah.
So we will read it, and I showed you in the back. Like we wrote some Bible verses. So we'll read the Bible verses, talk about what it means, and then we hang it on the tree, and it kind of walks us through every day.
Mhm.
That's in our Advent calendar, and then tucked in behind these little pictures, or whatever we're doing that day for Advent. So like tomorrow, Adam listed off all the things that we're doing, and that's in there. And then when it's the feast, the eve of St. Nicholas, it'll say celebrate St. Nicholas, and so it's kind of fun. The kids get to have their assignment for the day, Bible
Absolutely.
reading, and it helps them anticipate it. So
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Pam. All right. Love you guys. God bless you. See you soon.